Time from 1982, Basket Case. It's like impossible to talk about this movie without spoiling it. If you do any research on it, it spoils it for you. The trailer spoils it for you. Let's just say this: it's a guy carrying around a basket in New York, and obviously there's some creepy inside. And the build up in it is just awesome. It's one of the most unique 80s horror stories. You can watch a lot of them, and even though this isn't like a stellar movie, still low budget, but filmed in and around New York, they do an awesome job. It's like intensive gore scenes, which is what you need, and you'd be surprised how terrible some props or gore that you see in some movies, but at least they paid attention to that. It's even a combination of stop motion. So it's about these Siamese twins who are wrongfully separated, and he ends up
a basket case.
One of them looks normal, and then it's a detached Siamese where it's just like his head mutated and like with arms, and their dad's like an American a-hole, so he wants to get them separated, so he makes them get separated when they're 12, and they don't want to get separated. They even have this psychic connection where they could talk to each other without even speaking.
Telekinesis?
No, okay, that's called Shining, Luke.
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
Shining? You've been away from horror movies for a while.
I'm sorry.
Fucking idiot.
Oh yeah, they were shining. They could shine.
So the story's pretty engaging. They try too hard.
There's a lot of filler, I can tell you that.
Not too much though. They try too hard with the comedy with the secondary characters because they're staying at this New York hotel, so there's other tenants, and they make them go up in arms.
Wasn't it like that doll comedy?
Some of it's good. Some of it's like trying too hard. Like, oh, what you got? Easter eggs in that basket and horrible crap like that. But anyway, it's all about the basket case. He's so awesome. He's basically like
a puppet that's stop motion. He's
basically like a monster. He's incapable of clear dialogue.
He's a little bit of Yoda. He's a little bit of
alright, just shut
Sandman. He's a little.
So he'll growl and he basically mauls his victims like a savage, and they feed him and then he ends up feeding them like a packet of hot dogs and stuff like that. So you can just picture what he is in that basket. And they'll do it's not like the death scenes were that amazing. Like, they mostly focused on the stop motion of him whenever he'd move around, and then like when he'd kill him, they just attach him like, oh, actor to face and squirt blood on him, and then more blood, and tons of blood, and so the death scenes weren't that amazing, but they were still kind of intense, and it was awesome to see him go. I wish he had one-liners and he was sophisticated.
But he was just retired and made grunts.
Exactly, and what else do I have to say? They showed the surgery in a flashback, which is an awesome scene, and
blood squirting all over the docks, even though they're wrongfully separating them.
And so then they're grown up and they return to New York, and they're finally getting revenge on the doctors that separated them, and their aunt was the only one that supported them through their childhood, and they show a flashback of like the aunt with the freaking deformed monster Belial on her lap, like reading them a bedtime story. It's hilarious. And
then unique movie.
Then let's get to the ending now. So I suggest seeing it. I give it a B- overall.
He kills his girlfriend because he's a basket case.
After they end up killing all involved, all the doctors,
they kill each other's friends,
including their dad. Then basically Dwayne ends up Dwayne's the normal one. He ends up having a dream where his balls are running out. Or I mean, he's running and his balls are like in the wind, like literally fall out, and you're like, really?
No, then there's a part where he just picks
L-Mid
him up.
was passed out, so he didn't even know.
No, I saw the scene where he picks him up by his balls.
He kills his girl, basically like he gets jealous whenever Dwayne's living a normal life and
who would
and abandons him.
If you were a basket case, you'd get jealous too.
And so basically he ends up crawling over to his girlfriend's apartment and killing her, and he's like on top of her, and then Dwayne, they all flip out and they go back to his original apartment, and they end up freaking getting into a huge fight.
He's
and
like,
then
that was the first girl I kissed, come on.
and he's like, and he tackles him outside the window of this New York apartment. They're hanging onto the sign, and it's so awesome. They fall down. They're supposed to die, but then
Kinda
they come back
remind
for
me
the
a little bit
sequel
of the
8 years
scene.
later. It reminds you of what?
It reminded me of the scene of Batman '89 where
No,
he's hanging
Last
with the
Action
statue,
Hero, where they're up on the...
and he's hanging with him.
He's like, come on. No, when he throws the axe. Last Action Hero. And he's on top of the roof.
It's not like that, okay, so.
I can't even remember it fully, but it would be like that.
Basket case.
B-. This was Mr. Creepshow 9, our horror, sci-fi, fantasy comic book channel. Click on there for more videos. Tell me your thoughts on it and the sequels. I'll plan on watching the rest of the franchise. And we're out.